Hi everyone, thank you and welcome to Bangkok. Thanks for coming here despite the hot weather. My name is Ainhoa and at Zondax we have been involved with Polkadot since the pre-mainnet era. You may recognize us for some work on the Ledger app devices. We have built and maintained Polkadot and many parachains applications. But we have done also some work on remote signers, conformance testing, and in summary, we are thrive on technical challenges. Thank you again for joining today. Your courage is admirable. If you are here, it's because you are also driven by technical challenges and change. So I want to take you into a journey through time, venturing from the past, present, and the future that is ahead us. So, in particular, I'm very fond of this quote by Søren Kierkegaard, because we can only understand our mistakes backwards, but we need to face the challenge day by day to really move on the future, and we live always forward. So, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, so let me briefly tell you where we are today. So in Polkadot, this is a famous artistic piece from an artist that presented last year during Copenhagen, Decoded. So basically the relay chain with the currently baked consensus secures all these small dots around, which are the parachains, and also does some work for them, like governance, staking, managing balance, and other. We have also today something really vibrant, like OpenGov, an open platform where the whole community of token holders can vote on where is this future on Polkadot going to. And today we have almost 100 parachains between Polkadot and Kusama, so it's very vibrant. However, we have some pain points, no? And since we are now in the future, we can look back and identify the things that didn't work out so well. I'll highlight 3, and then I will walk through some of the solutions that are being developed by the community. So the first and foremost is frequent upgrades. Probably, if you have been in Polkadot involved for some time, you are very well aware of this. On one hand, this embodies the very essence of Polkadot, fostering innovation. On the other hand, it complicates very much development of stable and mature products. And what can we do to improve this? So, on one hand, what we could do is to have less frequent upgrades. However, this is not on our hands, or this needs to be further discussed on the community. And one of the approaches that I want to walk you through today is Paseo. Because if we have many upgrades, one of the things we can do to prepare for them is to do better testing. And to do better testing, we need testnets. And Paseo is a community-driven testnet that aims to provide a stable and realistic development environment for new and existing developers. The idea is that it's more close to Polkadot than to Kusama. It's currently maintained by many experienced participants of the community, like Portico, Rogue, Amphor, Paradox, Take Plus, Zondax. And it's aimed to replace Rococo, which is currently being maintained by Party and will be decommissioned by 2024. Feel free to scan this QR code. We have in this small website some information about where you can find support. There is also an early block explorer. There are some FAQs and all the links you need in order to get support to understand how you can deploy your project on Paseo. Another challenge that we face with frequent upgrades in the area of Ledger devices was that it was quite complicated to maintain through the whole process that Ledger requires, audits and reviews, development, this space. So last year we discussed with the community, and currently a solution like this one application for all substrate-based chains that is not going to be affected by runtime upgrades is being developed. There is a talk later in the afternoon at 5 at Builder Space A, I believe. So come around if you want to know more about where are we now with this project. And you can also scan this QR code. There are some also FAQs and some information. We will be also tomorrow we'll have a booth on the networking space. So please come to us if you have some questions about how to support, how your parachain or project can be compatible with this new application. Another challenge that we had in Polkadot were the parachain slot acquisition. It seemed very cool, but soon we realized that it was quite expensive, and some projects that got the auction didn't really have the immediate need of using the block time. So what has been discussed in the community and was presented last year is the vision for Polkadot 2.0, which changed the paradigm from auctions or from chains in general to block space, where we are going to use only the resources that we need. We're going to be focusing more on building applications, and we will have this supercomputer that in a very flexible way can manage the needs of the core time for the different projects. Now, the third and my favorite one, but the one that we want to dive in a bit more, is operational costs and efforts. So infrastructure, we had yesterday one talk on the Polkadot Summit about infrastructure, and I did a small survey, and we realized together that infrastructure is much more than just nodes. So there are some hidden costs involved. There are DevOps, which includes also hiring, training, and maintaining a highly specialized team. There is tooling, which these days is a bit scattered. There is also high dependency on top tiers, which personally worries me a lot because we talk about decentralization, but the reality, we're very dependent on Amazon, Azure, and these cloud providers. And seems like decentralization in some ways still kind of a mirage. So we have this challenge on infrastructure. Then we have high costs. We did also a survey asking how much does it cost to run a parachain on a monthly basis. And what we can see here is that first, there are many participants. There were yesterday a lot of participants from parachain teams, developers, core developers, and for many it's still unknown how much does it cost, while for others it's still a quite expensive cost, 2 to 10,000 Ks. It can be, or even more than 20K. 20% of the participants replied. This can be even more because probably this survey didn't take into consideration, like many of us forget very often about all these hidden costs, no? None all of us know all the details about what really costs to run all these things. Compared with other ecosystems, it was also interesting for half of the participants, it was less expensive than others, while for others, too expensive. This means there is still room for improvement in this area. So what I want to talk to you a bit more is about a solution. We have been brainstorming, and we just started to make a prototype in mid-January. And we want to hear the community to understand if this is something that could be useful for all of us. And I want to present you our end-to-end idea for a blockchain infrastructure manager. So what it is, we imagine this as a solution that takes care of the whole workflow end-to-end. And we can imagine it as traditional web hosting. Like it should be as easy as deploying a website on Vercel. We want to develop this with the idea of supporting Polkadot 2.0, with the idea of core time, core play, corecast. And as I was saying, we want to support end-to-end workflows, development, testnet, genesis, mainnet, upgrades, monitoring, etc. Our goals, first and foremost, is to be open source. We have heard very well the community. We need to be open source. The solution will be Kubernetes-based, and one of the main goals also is to reduce DevOps cost. It needs to be super easy to configure, so we can have custom configurations on replicas, endpoints, etc. But we really need to have a way of having templates so that the less experienced users are also able to take advantage of it. We want, the main objective is to get teams to iterate and innovate very quickly. Users and hackers, developers, builders should really concentrate on their use cases. And lowering the entry barriers, because if it's still very expensive, very complicated, I mean, Web3 is already a big challenge. So we need to really make things easier for new projects to launch and reduce expenditure on cost of workflows in general. So what is a deployment? So a deployment needs 4 main elements that need to be specified. The where, so the cluster. Am I going to deploy in Zurich, in the cloud, in Amazon, or in Asia? It needs an artifact, like what I'm going to deploy, like the binaries. It needs a who, so what is the chain configuration? It's going to be Polkadot, Paseo, or my own parachain. And maybe some additional customization, like I want a faucet, I want also a block explorer, etc. This is a screenshot from where I'm going from the platform that is being built. So, in chain configuration, the idea is that you can either use pre-configured chain specs. So here we see Kusama, Paseo, Polkadot, Rococo, etc. So that for that user that just really want to use something that is simple, we have these pre-configured chains. But also we want to offer the possibility to configure like something customized, no? So in this screen you can see how you can here define your chain, name, token symbol, decimals, chain type, format. Now for the artifacts, again, so we can have public images, Docker, OCI, or images generated by CI/CD pipeline. And something really important I want to highlight here is that we want to do GitHub integration. So you need to be able to deploy directly connecting to GitHub your own development, your own artifact right now as it is, not this branch. I want to have this branch. In this image we see, so in this case it's parity Polkadot, is the artifact that we're going to deploy. Then, another configuration such as number of replicas, URLs, endpoints, faucets, etc. And short demo. I wanted to do a live demo, but internet connection and still a prototype. So I have here a video of how we envision this to work. So the first step is to really connect with GitHub. And you create your own workspace. In this case, we are going to do a demo. And you want to make a deployment. In this case, we're going to use the configuration of Paseo. So we're going to deploy on Paseo with the artifact of Polkadot. And in a very easy form, the idea is that you can select, in this case, a pre-configured configuration, choose the artifact, configure the deployment, the number of replicas. In the future, like where do you want to deploy the cluster, and click deploy, wait a few minutes, and that's it. It's almost working on the backend. There's a lot of work that it's already done. So that's the vision. Something very important to mention is that we want to offer the option so you can you can either run it locally, or you can depend on someone else that is going to host it. But the idea is to really not put barriers, no? So you should have the freedom to decide how you want to deploy things. And that's it. Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, this is also a quote I like very much from my favorite writer, Isaac Asimov. So we have change, and change is inevitable, and is the factor that we have in society today. But we cannot move into the future without taking into consideration what are going to be the consequences, and without imagining and dreaming of how the world will be. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ainhoa. Do we have any questions? Yep. Get a hot mic.
Yeah.
Oh, you have yours. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Nikita. I'm from Open Zeppelin. I had a question about Paseo. Is async backend enabled there? Because I think it is not enabled on Rococo, for example. At least it wasn't until like mid-February. And it would be a good feature to test against the real chain.
Sorry, what is not deployed?
Asynchronous backend.
Asynchronous backend.
Yeah, backend. So yeah, to have a 6-second block on the parachain.
So I'm not sure if this is ready yet, but so we are now in the phase in Paseo of making available deployment of parachains. So just to give you a context, so Paseo started late December, just before Christmas. So it has been just a few months. The idea is that follows Polkadot. So whatever is available in Polkadot is going to be a few days later available on Paseo.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yeah.